Who's the best shunter? Thomas, Percy, Edward and Henry enjoyed their work on the island of Sodor, pulling and pushing trucks up and down the line. There is a lot of hard work that has to be done, but the engines didn't mind. They love to please the Fat Controller. This makes them feel very reliable. But one morning, the engines were resting on the siding. They had sorted out a lot of trucks. Just then Emily pulled in with a train of trucks. "What are you all doing?" she asked the engines. "Resting," replied Henry. "We sorted out all those trucks this morning." "You have to understand it's very tiring," said Thomas, "and it's a job that has to be done." "Well, I've arranged at least 10 loads of trucks today," boasted Emily, "and this is the 3rd train I pulled too. I can't see how you lazy engines can arrange all these trucks together at once." And then she puffed away. The engines were very cross. "Lazy?" fumed Percy. "I've never felt so insulted." "It takes more than one engine to arrange so many trucks at once," agreed Edward. "I shunt all the time." The engines got back to work and were feeling cross about what Emily said to them. The next morning, the 4 engines came to Knapford Station. "What can we do to pay Emily back for what she said to us?" asked Percy. "We can't let her think she's better than us for everything," said Thomas. "If she sees us again today," said Henry, "she's bound to call us lazy again." Edward had an idea. "Let's show Emily how good we are arranging trucks," he suggested. "If we go to different places and arrange all these trucks for her, she'll find out how wrong she is." "Excellent," said Thomas. "I'll go to the docks, and I'll go to the quarry, and we'll both stay here and sort this lot out." Later that day Emily went to work. First she went to the quarry to shunt some trucks, but when she arrived she saw that the job had been completed. "Who's done all that?" she asked. "I did," replied the voice. "I've just done all of this for you." Edward pulled up beside Emily. Emily was surprised to see Edward, but was not pleased to see him at all. "I didn't ask you to help me," Emily said crossly. "It's not to do with the fact that you're good at handling trucks. I'm still better at shunting than you." And then she puffed away. When Emily arrived at the dock, she saw that her train had been sorted already. "You did this, didn't you?" Emily asked Thomas. "Yes, I did," said Thomas. "If this is some sort of trick, you can stop right now," she said rudely. She collected the train and then she set off. When Emily arrived at Knapford Station, she saw that Henry and Percy had arranged her next train already for her. Emily was more cross than ever. "I didn't ask you lazy lot to arrange these trucks," she snapped. "It was supposed to be my job." "Thank you would have been more polite," said Henry. "We were only trying to help," agreed Percy. The trucks were tired of being pushed around by Emily. "We'll show her that she's no good at handling us," they whispered to each other. "Let's push her around instead." As Emily puffed along the line, the trucks moved smoothly at first, and when Emily slowed down at the junction, they bumped right into her. Go on, they yelled, and they pushed her along the line. Emily was such a state of shock, so she didn't know what to think. "Stop!" she shouted at the trucks, but the trucks took no notice. The trucks pushed her as they reached towards Wayside Village Station, and there was worse to follow. A piece of pipe had been left on the track, and Emily couldn't stop. She banged into the pipe, came off the rails, and right in the middle of the village. When the Fat Controller heard the news, he spoke severely to Emily. "You have not been careful and polite," he said. "Your roughness with the trucks has caused confusion and delay, and you owe those engines an apology." "I'm sorry," Emily said to Thomas, Percy, Edward and Henry. The engines felt sorry for Emily because they didn't mean for this accident to happen. "It was our fault, sir," said Percy. "We planned to show Emily how good we are at arranging these trucks. It's only because she called us lazy when we realised she shunted more than us," said Thomas. "Then you are all to blame," said the Fat Controller. "You will all shunt trucks in the yard until you realise how much you can be a better team." A few days later, Emily came back to work. Emily saw for herself that the 4 engines shunted a lot more trucks than she expected. When they finished, they all had a rest on the siding. "I'm sorry we got into trouble," Henry said to Emily. "And I'm sorry I was so rude," said Emily. "You are all good at arranging trucks, just as well as me." "And who do you think is the best shunter around here?" asked Edward. "We are," they all said together.